Hello, students. Good morning. Today we are going to learn the chapter The Sip of the Desert. So, first I will read the chapter. You please go through the lines. Lion roaring. Who are you? Camel looking down at the lion. I am the sip of the desert. Who are you? Lion. Don't you know me? I am the king of the forest. Camel. Are you? Oh, I see. Lion frowning. You call yourself the sip of the desert? How can you be a sip? You are an animal. Camel smiling. So, I am, but people call me the sip of the desert. I can walk across the desert even on a hot afternoon. The sand burns, but it does not bother me. Lion, I can't believe it. Camel, can you walk across a desert? Lion, blinking, no, I can't, but I can run fast in the forest. Camel, with disdain, every animal can do that. I alone can run on sand. I can run on sand at 25 kilometers an hour. Lion, wonderingly, how can you do that? Camel, look at my feet. They are thick and padded. The hot sun does not burn them. Lion, my feet are padded too. Thorns do not prick them, and I can run 80 kilometers an hour. Camel, that is true. You can run 80 kilometers an hour in the forest. But can you run even a mile on the hot sand? Lion, maybe not, but. Camel, interrupting. And you can't live without water for a week, can you? Lion, no, I can't. I need water every day. But don't tell me you can do without water. Camel, yes, I can. There are no rivers or lakes in a desert. But that does not bother me. I can drink 200 bottles of water at a time. Lion, really? You must have a big stomach. Camel, proudly, yes, I have a big stomach. I can store water for a week. I can store food for 2 weeks even. Lion, showing a lot of interest. Do you store food in your stomach? Camel, no, I don't. I store it in my hump. I eat a lot of food at one time. Then I don't need to eat for a fortnight. Lion, that's interesting. But what do you eat? Camel, I eat leaves. But there are no trees in a desert. Lion, what do you eat there? Camel, there are thorny bushes in the desert. I eat the thorns. The thorns do not prick my thick tongue. Lion, how funny. Camel, Mr. King of the forest, please come with me to the desert. Lion, no, I would better not. I can't walk on burning sand. I can't store food and water. And I can't eat thorns. Goodbye and good luck, Mr. Sip of the Desert, S.K. Ram. In this chapter, there is a conversation between a lion who is also known as the king of the forest and the camel who is known as the sip of the desert. So there is a conversation between the lion and the camel. And from this conversation, we come to know the characteristics of each of these animal. That is the characteristics of a camel and the lion. And students do remember, like we, being an individual is unique from one another. Similarly, all the animals are unique from one another. So, lion is different, camel is different. They are unique in their own way. Whatever the lion can do may not be possible for the camel to do. Or whatever the camel can do may not be possible for the lion to do. But they are genius in their own way. So let's begin the explanation part. first dialogue comes from the lion's side. So the roaring of the lion, that means the sound that the lion takes out is called roar. So first the lion asks the camel, okay, the question he asks by roaring, "Who are you?" The lion could not recognize the camel, and the lion, just to inquire who is he or what is it, he asked, "Who are you?" The camel, which is taller than lion, he looks down at the lion. Okay, looks down at the lion means he just looks down. He puts his head down. "I am the sheep of the desert. Who are you?" So he replies. Who replies? Camel replies. So he gives a wonderful reply that he is the sheep of the desert. Okay, and who are you? Okay, he gives his description in the first part itself that he is the sheep of the desert. Okay, and he also does not recognize the lion, and so he asks the questions back to him. Who are you? Now, if the question is asked from the camel's side, the lion would answer, right? Lion now answers. He answers with a question like, "Don't you know me?" He asks the rhetorical question here. Rhetorical means that the camel should know him. So he asks, "Don't you know me? I am the king of the forest." Now, the camel has given his introduction as the sheep of the desert. Similarly, the lion also gives his introduction as the king of the forest. Again, the camel. "Are you? Oh, I see." Looking at the lion, the camel replies that, "Are you really the king of the forest?" "Oh, then I see." Like that, he comments. Lion frowning. That means, "Oh, what you are saying?" Frowning means angrily. "You call yourself the sheep of the desert? How can you be a sheep? You are an animal." So the lion, frowning, "You call yourself the sheep of the desert? How can you be a sheep? You are an animal." Yes, sheep is a non living thing. An animal is a living thing. So, being an animal, how can you call yourself sheep? That clarification is required. Lion asks the camel to clarify him that why he is called as the sheep of the desert or the sheep, which is a non living thing. By the looking at the question or hearing the question, camel smiles. "So I am," he replies that he is, because people calls him the sheep of the desert, and he could walk in the desert in the hot afternoon, and even the burning sand does not burn his foot or does not burn his feet. Okay, he can walk on the desert land or he can walk on the sand dunes without any difficulty. So you can see here the lines. "So I am, but people call me the sheep of the desert. I can walk across the desert even on a hot afternoon. The sand burns, but it does not bother me. The heat of the sand dunes does not affect me. I can travel on that hot sand." Again, the lion replies, "I can't believe it, because it is impossible for the lion to walk on the sand dunes in a hot summer day or even at the afternoon when the sun is shining bright because it's hot. So he can't believe it that the camel can walk on that burning sand dunes." "Camel," he replies, "can you walk across a desert?" He asks the lion, that, "Lion, can you walk across the desert?" Then lion, blinking his eyes, he says, "No, I can't, but I can run in the forest." Yes, see here, the speciality of the camel is that it can walk on the sand dunes even on the hot summer day, and the same thing could not be done by the lion. But the lion justifies himself by saying that he can run in the forest. Okay, he can run very fast. Then camel with disdain. "Every animal can do that." With disdain means with crooked smile. He says that, "Oh, running, every animal can do that. I alone can run on sand. I can run on sand at 25 kilometers an hour. See, every animal can run. Not only you, it's me also who runs on that sand dunes. And my speed is 25 kilometers an hour. This is the justification given by the camel that camel can also run. Not only you, lion, who can run, it is me, being the camel, the sheep of the desert, can run on the desert on that hot sand dunes at 25 kilometers an hour. Lion wonderingly means surprisingly, asks, how can you do that? Because it's impossible for the lion to do the same. So he is surprised by the reply of the camel. And he asks, how can you do that? Now the camel gives the justification that how he does. Look at my feet. They are thick and padded. The hot sun does not burn them. Yes, the feet of the camel are very thick. It's not thin, it's very thick and padded. And this feet of the camel helps them to walk over the sand dunes or over the desert all day in the hot sun. Now lion replies, my feet are padded too. So he justifies that feet, not only your feet, my feet is also padded. Thorns do not prick them, and I can run 80 kilometers an hour. So, Mr. Camel, you can run only 25 kilometers an hour. So, my feet are also padded, and thorns does not prick me. Okay, so I can run on the forest at 80 kilometers an hour. See how fast I run? Here, the lion means to say that my specialty is that I run faster than the camel. Camel. That is true. You can run 80 kilometers an hour in the forest, but can you even run a mile on the hot sand? Camel, even though he keeps his voice, he keeps his ego, and he says, okay, fine, that's true that you can run faster than me. But can you run a mile even on the hot sand or on the desert? He tries to pull the leg of the lion. The lion says, maybe not, but. Then lion is now confused. He says that maybe not. I could not walk on the sand or even run on the sand at that faster speed because it will burn my legs. Camel interrupting. And you can't live without water for a week, can you? So now the camel gives his justification or, shows his special quality that he can store water. So he asks the question to lion that can you store water? Or can you live without water for a week? Hearing to that, lion replies, no, I can't. I need water every day. So hearing to that, lion replies that, no, I can't. I need water every day. But don't tell me you can do without water. Now lion is again surprised with a new expression or with a new sentence that he can live without water. Lion, no, I can't. I need water every day, but don't tell me you can do without water. So camel can do without water. That we come to know from this sentence. Okay? So camel, he replies, yes, I can. There are no rivers or lakes in a desert, but that does not bother me. I can drink 200 bottles of water at a time. Yes. In case of the camel, they live in the desert where there are hardly any water there. Okay, there are less number of rivers or lakes, and so the camel has a special quality of storing the water in their stomach, and he can drink 200 bottles of water at a time. So this is the special quality of the camel, which is known as the sheep of the desert. So you can underline this sentence. Next page. Lion replies, really? You have a big stomach? Oh, he is surprised now that after listening to him, that the camel has a big stomach. Camel proudly says, yes, I have a big stomach. I can store water for a week. I can store food for 2 weeks even. Okay, now camel proudly accepts the fact that he has a big stomach. And I can store water for a week. I can store food for 2 weeks. He can store water, food for so many days. That is 2 weeks. Okay. Lion showing a lot of interest. Now he wants to know what are the different qualities that the camel have. So do you store food in your stomach? He asks. Camel says, no, I don't. I store it in my hump. Okay, students, I would like to show you the picture of a hump. So here with the red mark, you can see it's a hump of the camel. Okay, so the camel stores the food in his hump and he eats a lot at one time. In the stomach, he stores the water. In the hump, he stores the food. And then he does not require the food or water for 2 weeks or fortnight. Lion. That's interesting, but what do you eat? Yes, now lion is surprised and interested to know more, and he says that in this desert you don't even find any food to eat. So what do you eat? So camel replies that I eat leaves, but there are no trees in the desert. Okay, he says that. Camel says that he eats leaves, but there are no trees in the desert. Now lion, what do you eat then? Okay, so what do you eat if there are no leaves? Camel says that the thorny bushes in the deserts that he eat. The thorny bushes means all the cactus plants. I eat the thorns, and thorns does not hit his tongue. Okay, does not prick my thick tongue. The thorns does not prick my thick tongues. Okay. Lion, how funny. Even after eating the thorny bushes, the camel does not get the pricking in his thick tongue. Now lion says, how funny. Camel says, Mr. King of the forest, please come with me to the desert. Yes. Now camel asks lion to accompany him to the forest. Okay, to the desert. Lion, no, I would better not. Lion denies. He does not accept the proposal of the camel to come to the desert. I can't walk on the burning sand because the lion cannot walk on the burning sand. He cannot store food or water for a longer period of time. He needs food every day and water every day, and he can't eat the thorns. Okay? So goodbye and good luck, Mr. Ship of the Desert. Therefore, you are called as a ship of the desert. So, here only I say you goodbye and good luck. So, with this, the conversation between the lion and the camel ends here, and we got to know the various characteristics of the lion and the camel. Why the lion is called as the king of the forest, and why the camel is called as the king of the ship of the desert. The camel is called as the ship of the desert because he can walk on the sand dunes on the hot summer day, and it does not burn his feet. He can store food and water for longer period of time. He can eat the thorny bushes that are available in the desert. So he is called as the ship of the desert. This text was written by S.K. Ram. Let's look into the word meanings. Ship of the desert. In this text, the ship of the desert is the camel. Miles means the distance. King of the forest, the ruler of the forest, or here it means the lion. Sand. It is the granule material composed of finely divided rocks and mineral particles. It is defined by size being finer than gravel and coarser than silt. Sand matlab balu. And you can see the picture of the sand dunes. Okay? The desert picture or the picture of the sand. Thorns. Thorns means the thorn that you have in the rose plant or cactus. So thorns, a thorn is a sharp spike that protrudes from the stem of a plant. So you can see the picture of the thorns. So with this, we come to the end of the chapter, the ship of the desert. Thank you.